starts to slow down. Keeps it going.
But I won't be able to pick it up on what I go to do.
You got it. I got two. Man, it remembers retail. I like it. It's a long time ago. I gave you a 20. I gave you a 20. 3 for 2.
Yeah, I was on the website, but he was driving his sister. The only year I was there. No, this is the only year I was there. Buds don't work on that. So I'm stuck with not getting.
Let's keep that hairy dog.
I've been praying for that.
What's up?
That side.
Oh, come on, I'm coming over.
Variations in light and dark.
He ended up going. Yes. Yeah, he's on.
I was looking at like a phone. Variations.
Lunch, 9 o'clock at night. Because you have stereos, and that was on. It's early. John Hall was the guy that wrote.
Maybe they use it up and down there. It was 2 channels.
Anyway, on HD radio. Best Buy. Anywhere, Best Buy.
They're in the same room.
I know, I saw the latest one.
And the tower on the fiber side, you can see the picture of it. So they're all in the same room. But that 93 really is a Walkman signal. You'll have no trouble with that. And if you just limitation on it, I'll get it in the I'll get it in the gut.
It's interesting that you were talking about. That's coming.
Anybody else? Last chance.
Yeah, one more.
How long was that for the ugly step? Really?
Yeah, you put paper in.
We're not sure.
Somebody just asked me a question.
No.
3 for 2. No, I'm sorry, Charlie.
So you couldn't make any recordings anyway.
Well, originally you were making one, which I did.
So they figured, well, which is another half. Well, you're checking, they were thinking they were 40.
Later, they made us probably do that. Yeah, it's right. They had everything.
You give me a 10.
I'll do it right.
The copy that was over.
But they weren't stamped.
Well, when this comes down, it's going straight down from faster.
So you say they're pouring
Liquid back, so it's really.
Oh, the mold is melted with insulation on it. Got the wax in, and they harden. It hardens. Then they can take it out and hold it for it. They got the information now on the wax. And they make many of it, you know. So the mold was bad.
Very end, they have like stuff that guys don't want to bring home. They're just like $1 for product. So other people are already like.
Not too much information out there. There's a lot of stuff that don't have to, plus it's just, that a fire basis for the record.
Very, very marsupials was.
1929, they stopped selling the records. They started making regular records that you could play today on any machine.
Of course, you want to try to buy it.
1929, the stock market crashed.
I'm trying to read a good book about record collecting. It's called Don't Sell by Any Price.
Sell at any price?
Yeah, they talk a lot about the Paramount Record Company. And it was by River, so people ever go diving in River looking for these records because they said that when they went out of business, they were selling them to the River.
Well, it wouldn't do any good to go looking for them anyway. It's black, so you'd be all ruined from being in the water.
But the author of the book was a record.
By the time that got
She actually could speak about people. It's just to do it.
Well, there's Regina Music Box Company. You've heard of Regina back in the day. Well, they make music boxes. And Broadway. And when they stopped producing music boxes, I guess they went bankrupt. Because of machinery and everything else.
They have. I gotta say, then they all bring everything. You know, wool and sell, trade. Beautiful pieces. And then also
You building my donations.
At least don't pull the thing off.
There's one in there.
One time at a first check, I think you get first.
Not else.
Really? Yes. 6 feet below.
Did you say that? Well, but.
They made those for a few weeks.
That old lady with that record player was
Yeah, Mark. Very rarely played it. Just the music is so long. Edison was George. They came to it. Not necessarily, but no, he's not. I'll find out if they that's true. I don't know how bad it was. Because the stylist of the More style is so low. So, I know for those you don't have any tangle. And it wasn't, that's why you launch. Camera always launch. These, I can imagine, to answer your question, in fact, even the early group up there, electric, that's why
When you say full plow, you mean reasonable. Remember? Something you can pick it up.
He's a great guy.
Can I buy?
Oh, man! Goodness, what happened? Where'd you go? I gotta get tickets first.
And then you sat there and watched it.
Wasn't on there. George Hill is live.
Was it one story?
It wasn't up to the bridge or anything. It was a big one. It was a big one. It wasn't a scratch. But I'm just saying, you know, he hit the line. Let's see what George Hill is doing. Thinking this now, it's staring at the I get it all the way. Wait when you get over the bridge. Talk to the night.
I'll check with
My godson sold a old 59 uniform, 59 flip
You don't want to wave to the camera. He's got better things to do. He'll tell you about it.
$33, and we need someone to pick. Well, I think we're gonna have,
Are you doing the rap?
okay. The winning ticket is 5, 5, 5, 4, 1, 6.
Here we go.
Oh!
Check his ticket, check his ticket.
Hey, draw!
I got 461. Can I get
No, you wouldn't tickets to see any.
Listen, checks in the mail, okay?
I wanted Freehold.
All right, guys, pay attention. We have our own Professor Mike Littman. He's going to give his presentation. Please, pay attention. You've got a conversation, take it outside. Okay? We're not amplified here, or we don't, seldom are anyway. Any talking, you're gone. All right, I'll be the proctor. I'll put you out. Professor Mike, please. Thank you. I should bring you to my regular classroom. Okay, so the talk today I gave about, well, this is an updated version. I gave it about 2 years ago. It's 2017. We're just into 2017. 2014 was New Jersey's 350th anniversary. So there was the Princeton Public Library knew about my course on the history of engineering, and they invited me to give a lecture about New Jersey innovation. So it matched up with my course. Now, something that I did with this talk is usually the innovation that I talk about, it's really the story of America as viewed through engineering. And it starts with the beginning of the country in 1776, right up to the present time. Now, I had never looked at a particular region. So this is the first time that I had focused in on a particular region and said, okay, what technology came out of that region? It's New Jersey, it's a state that I grew up in. I grew up in Bergen County. I lived here in Princeton for the last 30 years. And so I thought it was a good topic to work on. So the title of that talk was Beyond Einstein, New Jersey's Contribution to World Science and Technology. And I was broadening the idea of New Jersey, and notice I include New York City and Philadelphia. It's sort of hard to separate it there. And when we get to the end, I'm going to pose a couple of questions to this audience. And I hope we can have a little bit of a discussion about the role of New Jersey in science and technology. So the questions that I want to ask are, what radical innovations originate and thrive in New Jersey? Now, radical, this is an idea, again, connected to my course. When we look at the history of innovation, we really look at the so-called radical innovation. So this is the idea that an innovation that really changes society in a substantive way. So I'm not looking at the effects of maybe a pencil on society. So writing influence, replacing the pen. But we are talking about things like metal bridges. We're talking about the automobile, the airplane, and so on. So that's what radical innovation, it means to change society. And then another important idea is this idea of biography. So who are the key people and exactly what is it that they did? And the notion of how society has changed, in the course, I'll do it a little bit here, you look at it through a window, through a lens of asking the question economically, politically, socially, how society has changed. I'm going to look mostly culturally in terms of the topic today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list New Jersey innovators, innovations, and organizations. I'm being selective. I'm trying to pick ones that I think are the most significant. You might have a different set of individuals or groups or organizations, and I'd like to hear that later. Okay, because again, this is my template. and then I'm going to group them. So this is something that we do in the course. So I'm going to group it 2 different ways. You'll see that in just a second. And I'm going to get to the punchline right now, right up front. So one of the things that pops out of this for me when I put this lecture together is that the power and information networks is really centrally connected to New Jersey. And so there are many other innovations that I cover in the course, but certainly electric power and information are 2 that are extensive. Now the course that I teach is, again, as background on this, it's called Engineering in the Modern World, and we deal with engineering design. And the question is how you might define engineering. So this is also something that we look at. I do this with students. And we define engineering rather than giving a definition to say engineering is. We do it through examples. We say, what are the examples? And we do that through groupings. And the groupings are structures, machines, networks, and processes. Think about this for a second. Structures, civil engineering, machines, mechanical engineering, networks, electrical engineering, and processes, chemical. That pretty much covers most of engineering. It's an interesting way to try to define engineering. In analogy, you might say, how would you define art? It's art again. You come up with a definition. Definition's like a theory. What is art? Very tough to do. Samuel Morse created the National Academy of Design, and he defined art through the categories of art, which he called painting, engraving, sculpture, and architecture. So that's, again, an interesting way to group it. And it's a good way to avoid having to actually put forth a definition, just give examples. So design is part of the story today, and also discovery. And discovery deals with science. And then again, how would you define science? Well, you can define it as physics, astronomy, chemistry, geology, but I'm leaving off biology. And the reason for that is not that it's not important, it's just that I don't know very much about biology. Okay, so that's off on my time. And of course, when you talk about New Jersey, I'm leaving out a huge piece because the pharmaceutical industry is a huge part of New Jersey. So I want to have that just aware up front. Now, artists can also help us with this idea of figuring out who's important. So this is an image by Edward Sorel. So Sorel is an illustrator. He does a lot of the New Yorker covers. A well-known illustrator. Some of his work